up, everyone? Welcome to popculture.com's group chat, where we talk about all the reality TV news that we care about and you need to know. I am one of your hosts, Anna Rumor.
And I am Victoria Magotomy.
We are missing Jameson again this week. He'll be with us soon. In spirit. And it's actually good because I feel like we have so much to say about The Bachelorette, and he probably wouldn't be able to get a word in edgewise because the premiere was absolutely wild.
I have so many thoughts. I'm so happy we're talking about this today.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to dedicate the full first half of the podcast to The Bachelorette, and then we're going to move on to Demi Lovato's breakup, which happened a little bit ago, but now there's some interesting twists to it because Max Erich is a little bit extra, I think is the kindest word that I could use for him.
Interesting.
And then we'll break down Big Brother, as always, as we're down to the final 5 players.
I got thoughts on that one too, Anna.
Heck yes. Okay, let's start off with The Bachelorette. Clare Crawley is officially on her journey to love. I feel like we have been talking about this season for almost a year now.
Yeah.
It's just good to actually kick it off. I kind of forgot what it was like to watch the show.
Yes. I was like, listen, this is the train wreck that I want to see because this show is going to make 2020 feel normal again.
Yes.
And I'm here for it. So I'm happy that it's back.
Okay, so let's just set some expectations at the beginning. Yeah. There are some very widely reported spoilers that at this point are so broad that I don't think we can really call them spoilers anymore. I think if you are in Bachelor Nation at all, you know about them. So if you don't want to know literally anything about this season, maybe skip ahead a few minutes. But we will talk about right, because if you truly have been in some kind of bubble for the last couple months, you might not know that, and the spoiler starts here, Claire does settle with one of her suitors. It's Dale, and then we get Tayshia as the second Bachelorette. This has been reported everywhere. Bachelor Nation people have talked about it. This is what's happening. I don't think it's that much of a spoiler anymore, and it makes it hard to talk about if we don't talk about that. So just setting that up from the beginning. Okay. What did you think of Claire's guys?
Okay, first off, some of them were 100% my type. I was like, okay. Some of them are goofy. The Harvard kid.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Not a fan of him. He's weird.
Bennett.
He's creepy. Bennett. Yes, Bennett. Oh my God.
When he's like, I went to Harvard and I bring it up a lot. It's called the H-bomb. He's 39.
Oh, and he's sipping his martini and he pulled up in a Rolls Royce. Bro, no.
And he had a scarf on the entire time. And I know it's 100 degrees plus out in Palm Springs in the summer because I used to live there. So, bro, it's a miss for me. If you're still talking about your undergrad degree when you're 39, that's very big Andy Bernard vibes for the Office fans out there.
Yes. But no, there were definitely a few of them that I was like, okay, I can get down for this season.
Who did you think was a cutie?
Oh God, you're asking me names now.
Oh, I know. I don't know any of their names.
I should have come prepared. Okay.
It's hard. There's 2 Blake M's this season.
Okay.
How do you expect me to know that?
Yeah. Blake with the beard.
Yes. Okay.
Like him.
Blake Moynes, I believe.
Yeah. And then one guy is a sports, he used to play in the NFL and he is a sports agent-ish now.
Pink suit guy?
I think so. Hold on.
Okay. I thought he seemed delightful because he was kind of fun and seemed to not take himself too seriously, but seemed to take Claire seriously, which is the perfect balance.
And he was so sweet. I just cannot remember this guy's name. I should have come prepared. I'm going to find him.
It's okay. Literally, no one knows their name.
Damar.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Damar. Pink suit guy. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Damar, right up my alley, man. I love him. I'm here for him. Yes. But there's a couple of guys that I was like, okay. And then there's one guy that she got rid of the first night. Dude was 7 foot tall, I swear. That she got rid of that I was really disappointed. I was like,
he was the one who described himself as a tall drink of water. I thought that was funny.
Yes, he was so cute. But so I'm definitely eyeing some of the guys. How about you?
So I actually really, I liked Damar too because he just seemed fun. And I feel like if you're going through this process, you want someone who's going to be able to laugh, but also isn't just on TV to make Instagram followers, like someone who's kind of able to be like, isn't this weird that we're doing that? And he seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I also really liked Dale, who is the guy that Claire eventually chooses. First of all, he's adorable. Second of all, he just seemed like a nice, normal guy. His limo introduction wasn't super crazy over the top, which I feel like if I was Claire and someone rolled up to me in a physical little bubble, which someone did, I would be like, okay, let's just cool it on that.
Who is the straitjacket guy? That guy was weird. I was like, why are you wearing a straitjacket? I mean, he literally sat there in a straitjacket even during the rose ceremony. I was like, bro, I feel like you can take it off now.
When he came in and sat on the couch and continued to be in the straitjacket, I was like, hey, dude, you could just bring up later, I'm the straitjacket guy. You do not have to sit there all night in it. He's going to get dehydrated. Who is feeding this man water? We know that the first night's like 13 hours long.
Yes. That guy, it was a little weird. I was like, never should we refer to ourselves as crazy like that. I don't know who came up with that idea. I don't know if it was the producers or him, but like,
not good.
Oh, no, not a good look.
No. Who was the other guy that I was? Oh, the guy with all the tattoos.
Yeah. Oh, didn't he go home on the first night?
He did, and I felt like that was the right choice because immediately he was like, I'm way better for Claire than all these guys here, and she should have recognized our connection. And I was like, that's a little aggro for just meeting a girl. Just saying.
He seemed a little crazy. So, no, I was not a fan. The boy bander guy, the boy band
Kenny.
manager. Oh my God. First off, Kenny has hair for days. His hair is pretty tall. And
his t-shirt with her dogs on it was good.
Yes, that was a good move. But I will say we looked him up. I watch every single week with a small group of girlfriends, and I actually myself never thought I would be that girl that gets together with other girlfriends to then watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette because
why
I used
not?
to hate this show.
So much fun.
And now I'm to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm hopping on the bandwagon. So anyways,
it's fine.
We looked up who this guy represents, and it's like some no-name band. It's so great. I was like, the fact that they like, I feel like every one of the producers is like, all right, what do you do for a living? We're going to elevate that times 10 because it's fake until you make it when it comes to national television. Let's go.
It's like boosting your resume, but for a lower third.
Yeah. It was so good though.
Moving away from the guys for just 1 second, there was two things right off the bat that I was like, oh my God, okay. I know that we had to cover COVID. Obviously, it impacted the season a lot and they had to explain it, but that was a lot. Like you said, I want to watch the show to feel joy in my life. And I actually got it like a little teary at the beginning when they were just going back through, the last 7 months that is the hellscape of our lives. Just because I was like, God, I remember all of this and it sucks. I don't want to watch it again.
To home, we're literally watching shows in action right now that are talking about COVID, but we're still not out of COVID. We're not going to be out of COVID for a minute now. So it's like still too close to home. I get why they have to acknowledge it. I'm with you, Anna, but I was also with you. I was like, oh my God, can we just fast forward through this?
I'm like, I can't do this. And then the second thing that I missed was, and I know this is because they had to spend time on COVID, but I missed getting to the packages from the contestants at the beginning where they kind of introduce them and show more of their life at home. Because I felt like when we went into the intros and into the first cocktail party, I didn't know who anyone was,
Yeah, I agree with you. And there was a few things, I'm going to tail off of that. Something else that was really different was the first night you typically see people come to try and get the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. So,
can I steal you for a second?
Yeah, we saw that I think maybe one time, and it was towards the end. It was like literally after I'd made a comment to one of my girlfriends. I was like, why aren't we seeing, like, it just, the first episode felt a lot more different and not a good way. Like it just did not feel the same. And I feel like you, Anna, like I didn't know any of the guys, like some of the guys that she was like giving a rose to, we were like, who is this guy? And then the other guy that we hadn't even like seen before. And it was very confusing because those of us who have been keeping up with it all have been following who the original cast was and then who are they going to keep, who are they going to get rid of. So like some of these people were like, okay, I thought that they were keeping this guy but we don't see him. But then he like pops up like at the very end and we're like, where did you come from?
I remember you.
It was all over the place, honestly. I was not a fan of it.
And that's why I don't blame you when you're like, I don't know anyone's name. It's like, me neither. I feel like I didn't get to know anyone except for the people that we already know are like part of stuff. Like, obviously we knew who Dale was because he's been all over the news for months. But other than that, I'm like, who? Who are you? Kenny?
Also,
I just remember your name because I liked your shirt.
Yes, I was keeping track of Dale. I'm going to look him up right now. I was keeping track of him because I was like, okay, I love watching people. I never do this, but I was so intrigued this time to do it. But I kept track of his followers. So how many followers he had on Instagram like prior to now. By the time I saw it, he was at 189,000. And now he's already gained, he's now up to 239.
Ooh, just out of episode 1.
Yeah, which is insane.
So we have to talk about Dale's moment because that was like the biggest moment of, and the show is no longer treating the fact that he is who Claire chooses as a spoiler.
Yeah.
I feel like, because right off the bat, so the rumor is that Claire and Dale were DMing on Instagram before the season actually started to film, because remember, she met, quote unquote, all the names of her guys were released, and then they had the production shut down. So there were months where she knew who was going to be on her season and then didn't get to meet them. There was no production rule saying that they couldn't contact each other, but the rumor is, and it's been, you know, if you're on Reddit and stuff like that, it's confirmed by different people who claim to be friends and friends, and, you know, but they were talking for a long time beforehand. So when they met on the first night, it was not their first time talking, which I feel like you could tell because he had a nice intro, but not like a particularly memorable intro. And Claire is immediately like, oh, I just met my husband. And Chris Harrison like emerges from the bushes to be like, what'd you say? You're not supposed to say that yet. But,
yeah. So I follow the Funny Batch. I think it's called the Funny Batch on Instagram. And someone put a meme together. It was from Modern Family. Blanking on everyone's name today. What's her name? We love her. Sofia Vergara.
Oh, yeah.
They put a meme of her. It was like a little video, and it said, I'm pregnant. And it was like Claire as soon as she saw Dale. And it was like Sophia going, I'm pregnant. Because like literally though, it's not a secret. And I just lost my thought. I'm all over the place today, Anna.
It's okay. We all are. This is a week.
No, what I was going to say. Okay, so Blake, the guy with the beard and the dog, had mentioned
one of the Blake M's.
Yeah, one of the Blakes. She pulled him aside and she was like, you know what? Like, you went out on a limb by reaching out to me and like risking your opportunity of coming on here.
And you were the only one to do it.
And you were the only one to do it. Well, Nick Vile comments on Twitter and he was like, okay, Blake was the only one to reach out, huh? I mean, we all know that you guys were talking.
And I don't think Claire is as slick as she. I like Claire. So this is not a condemnation at all. You do you, girl. You leave with your happy ending. You're more successful than 90% of the Bachelorettes out there. But I don't think Claire is as slick as she thinks she is, taking some other guy aside and being like, this is the one who DM'd me and he's the only one and I'm only bringing it up for one reason. It's not because Dale's over there, you know? And like,
she was very like, if you listen to her talking to Dale, even just her intro alone to him, she was like, okay, see you inside. Like, just, she had googly eyes. I mean, you could read it all over her face. She just melted as soon as he walked out.
And their conversation that we got to see on the show was not that in depth. It was pretty normal. So it's like, clearly you guys have been saying things to each other beforehand, you know? And I'm fine with it. But they're not as slick as they think that they are.
No. And, you know, but here's the thing. Let's touch on Tayshia for 2 seconds.
Yes.
I would feel so robbed if I was asked to be the Bachelorette and this was my season. Like, if I'm the Bachelorette, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to share it with someone else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, I mean, I get why they had to do it, but I'm also interested in why Claire. So there's also rumors as to why Claire, you know, is not the Bachelorette anymore. And I've got a running theory. I think that she potentially does not want to date. She like got to a point where she just didn't want to date. anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
But she knew it was Dale. And they were just like, all right, well, there's nothing we can do now. And then just like, bump her out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like largely what the reports are saying is she went in, she met Dale. They had a couple dates. She's only on for 4 episodes this season. And before they switch over to Tayshia. And she's like, yeah, I already know who I want to leave with. And then I don't want to go on dates with other people. And the producers are like, okay, because that is interesting, you know? When you get to
it's different. They haven't had that before.
Exactly. I don't think she had to twist too many arms to have that happen because they wanted, this was all going on during whenever The Bachelor and The Bachelorette was being criticized for having no people of color as well. I mean, The Bachelorette had Rachel Lindsay, but no people of color as leads in The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. So I think when Claire was like, hey, I want to leave, they're like, everyone has been pushing for Tayshia. If we pulled Tayshia in, we would get kudos there and it would be interesting. It's never happened before. And we'd be able to have kind of 2 seasons in one. I don't think anyone involved would have a problem with that. So I don't know.
But I'd still, if I were Tayshia, I'd be like, thanks for asking, but do I really have to share it with someone else?
Versus not being it at all, because Tayshia's time is never going to come if it's not this season, because she's past, you know, unless you're like Ari, who was.
Well, I don't know, because Clare Crawley came out of the woodwork.
That's true.
She's past. That girl's like an OG, man. She was on Juan Pablo's season, which was like what, season like 5 at this point? I don't know.
That's true. But she was on like the original Bachelor in Paradise. She was on Bachelor Winter Games. She's such a production fave. Yeah. I wasn't super surprised at that. Also, they were trying to push for diversity and being like, she's older. She's 39.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how I feel about Claire yet. I don't know.
I really like her. I like what I'm seeing. I like that she's no nonsense with the drama. Like whenever Tyler C tried to bring up, what was the drama with him?
Yeah, what do we think? It wasn't Yusuf?
Yeah, Yosef.
Oh, yeah. Yosef. Yeah. I looked him up on Instagram and I was like every photo is like of him and his daughter. It's actually very cute. And he's very cute on Instagram.
Well, what was the drama that before he was on The Bachelorette, he had Instagram videoed something not weird to a girl that Tyler C knew.
Yeah. And
she didn't think it was creepy.
I think the guy was saying that like in between, I don't know. I maybe I was not paying attention closely, but I thought I heard that sometime in between when they announced the original cast and then when they actually like went through with the actual cast,
right?
It was in between that time that Yosef was like messaging this girl. That is how I interpreted it. I could be completely wrong. It could be from the longest time ago, but either way, to me, it'd be one thing if like the guy was like, oh, I have a girl, like if he was claiming that he had a girlfriend and then wasn't telling Claire, like that would be something worth telling, but like,
and we've seen that a million times.
Yeah.
But that's like, not what I got.
No. But I like that Yosef like went up to her and was like, listen, I want you to hear this from me instead of him.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. And she was like, all right, let's just nip it in the bud.
Well, and I just like that she was like, okay, I hear what you're saying. And even if it was during like the production pause, there was absolutely no indication that they were going to film this season of The Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. So they're like, hey, be on pause, dude, for the next however many months. But they started filming in like July or August, and they were originally supposed to in like March. If they told me, hey, just don't talk to anyone and you're a single guy out there, I'd be like, I'm going to... Probably.
But that was really the only drama that we got, like quote unquote drama that we saw that night. And
and she was like, see ya, Tyler C. I'm over this. I don't want this kind of person in my season, which I appreciated.
I like that she shut both of them up and was like, okay, listen, we're not going to sit and talk about this anymore. I got other men to talk to. Good for her.
Yeah. She was like, you guys can keep talking about it if you want, but I'm going to go do something else. And I appreciated that. And then in the trailer for the rest of the season that we keep getting, I love her having her little like camera freak out moment. We don't know what it's about yet, but she's like, the reason I'm still single at 39 is because I haven't settled for men like him, and point at someone that she's clearly just gotten in a tussle with. I'm like, yes, girl.
She also got the men to drop their pants. Did you see that part?
No, what?
We're going to see some naked some naked buns
We're seeing some
on
buns.
this season. Oh, dude, they literally had to black it out. Like the guys get full on naked. She was like, yeah, she's like, I like my man with balls or something like that. And then like literally it is a video clip of them, like 5 or 6 of them just dropping their pants in front of her and Chris Harrison. Poor guy. He's like, I did not sign up for this.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I love it because I feel like the girls on The Bachelor have to like get 90% naked all the time or full naked. So more male bun representation on our shows.
Yes. She was like, I know what I want. Okay. I'm a grown woman. I know what I want. I like a man with balls, and boom, they just drop their pants.
It is noticeable watching last season's Hannah B, who's like 21, 22, to watching Claire at 39. It is so much, I don't know, it's much more watchable for me to watch a 39-year-old woman trying to find her soulmate than a 21, 22-year-old, because I'm like, or I don't know how old she was young. I think I don't know. It's just more fun because it's like Claire does want to get married, and I actually believe that maybe she's looking for someone who has qualities that are other than just like, he's hot, which any 24 or 25-year-old be like, I'm on The Bachelorette and there's a bunch of hot guys here. Why not pick the hottest one? I get that. I feel like Claire is kind of looking for something else though. And hopefully she finds it.
I agree with you. I like watching, and maybe that's just because I'm, almost 31 myself. But something about watching a 22-year-old girl try and you're still figuring out so much stuff in your life, let alone a bunch of also men. And we all know it takes a while for men sometimes. And a man at 22 and 23 and 24 years old, good luck.
I know. It's just more believable, honestly, at this age. So I know. I don't know. I'm digging Claire. I think she's doing a good job. Looking forward to the rest of the season. And I can't wait to see Tayshia too, because I really like her. She'll bring a different flavor.
See what they're going to do with the guys. How, are they just like, all right, well, the rest of you can go. We've got a whole new cast coming in.
All the guys who were really vocal about being like, I only signed up because of you, Claire, are really regretting that couple episodes in.
Oh.
And you, Tayshia, I loved you.
Yeah, just kidding. You're my favorite. Ooh. Yeah. No, they're going to have to go, I think, with a new cast. I think that's going to have to be. Or maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they gave some of the guys the option, like, listen, is this something you want to continue with? I mean, I don't know.
It's going to feel very disingenuous if they keep them, but also I can't see them bringing in a bunch of new guys at that point because casting takes so long. I feel like they're just going to keep the same guys.
Nah, they got to bring in new guys for sure. Because I think that I also think that they pick guys based on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette's preference.
They do, so but like the filming schedule doesn't line up because they would have had to find new guys that they cast, bring them all in for a 2-week quarantine. In what, like a week and a half? Like it just doesn't track. I don't know when they would have done this.
That is true.
Because they had no spare time.
Well, maybe, you know what they could have done? And this is just me. Okay. So what they could have done, I mean, obviously, so these guys that tried out, right? Yeah. They're only going to pick so many to actually go on the show. And there's a lot, right. It's a, right. You have to go through several auditions before you get chosen. They honestly, maybe, since they're already familiar with all the men that already auditioned, maybe they went through like old, like.
She gets the rejects?
No.
I mean.
They're not all rejects. It's the guys
they got rejected.
Claire would not be into. But that doesn't mean that they're rejects. They could be Tayshia's style and not Claire's. You know, so maybe they're calling up people being like, hey, remember when we told you that you weren't going to make it? Well, you're on. Let's quarantine
Get on a
real
plane.
Quick. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
That's possible. That's very possible. I am just curious to see
because there are people. I had a buddy who was on JoJo season, and he said that at last minute, one of the guys was called on, like at the very last minute, like a day or two before, because one of the other guys couldn't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And decided to back out. And so they called the guy like at last minute. So I would not be surprised if they were calling people like last minute being like, hey, do you want to come on? It's Tayshia now. You know, are you down?
Yeah,
with that?
right.
So
that's fair.
Because they also do ask you, I'm going to give away my awful secret. I did try out one year just for kicks and giggles.
Oh, that's fun.
And they ask you like who out of the Bachelor and Bachelorette realm that you'd be into.
So maybe there are people who said Claire and Tayshia.
So maybe there's someone who also said Tayshia that they're like, all right, every person said Tayshia. Does this align with what she wants? You know, I don't know.
Perfect. Listen, I think that's very possible too, because it seems weird to just sell a love story with Tayshia being like, and also these guys still. But I don't know. Maybe that's why we didn't get contestant packages, because they're all going home anyways. Who knows?
Right. Who knows, man? I'm excited though.
It'll be a good season.
But it didn't feel like, I'm happy it's back, but it did not feel like a normal first episode.
Right. Because every first episode's kind of the same, and this one was a lot different. So, you know, it's I'm glad that it's back. Listen, I'll take anything at this point. But interesting. Mm-hmm. Also, one last note, we have to move on, but I have one last note. They did Claire dirty in that dress. She is a stunning woman.
Yes.
That dress it was not even fitted to her. Like, where Taylor's not available because of COVID.
You said that because I was like, I feel like this dress is like a cheap prom date dress.
Yes.
From like some random store. It
looks like something I would have seen at prom.
It looked like a purse.
It did. It looked like one of those purses from the 2000s. It wasn't fitted to her. She's got such a, she's a gorgeous woman, and she's got a beautiful figure, and it just really did her no favors. And I felt bad for her.
Watch Claire listen to this and be like, guys, I actually picked that dress out myself, but okay.
Well, listen, Claire, that's why we all have stylists. Do you see what I'm wearing? Do you think this is flattering? I don't think so. We need objective opinions.
What are you? Are you wearing pajamas?
No. Most 2012 question of all time.
It looks so cozy.
No, it's like a giant fleece.
I mean,
it's certainly not flattering.
Oh, I like it though.
Thank you.
Oh, no, but I like it. But it looks, what's on it?
Spots? I don't know. It's like a Patagonia. I got it for sale.
They look like,
it is a men's Patagonia, but it was on sale. So
stars.
It's just beautiful.
I love that so much. You know those like button-down pajamas that people wear? I thought it was maybe that. I was like, dang, girl. I mean, I'm kind of in my pajamas.
Hey, you look great.
This really is kind of like a loungy top. So whatever, you know.
Listen, it's 2020. We're all doing what we're doing. Next week I'm going to wear my pajamas.
Yeah. There are no rules. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a break real quick. Let's come back and we'll talk Demi Lovato and Big Brother, because we could talk about The Bachelorette for a whole podcast. All right, we are back and we're diving into Demi. The first two words on my outline are just, oh, Demi. I love her so much. Always rooting for her. A Demi stan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a tough life for Demi, and the past few months have been some real ups and downs. I'm going to run through the timeline real quick in case you guys have not been paying attention to this, which I don't blame you for. There's a lot going on. She and Max Erich, who is a Young and the Restless actor, they went public with their relationship in March.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yes, I know. When it first came out, I was like, who is this man? Still kind of who is this man, but I did Google, and it's Young and the Restless. So they started quarantining together like just a couple weeks after that, which is big. In July, they got engaged, which is also big. And then in September, they called it off after. I mean, who knows if this is what caused it, but a lot of questionable social media behavior from him from the past arose, where he was saying weird things about Demi on social media and like hitting on Selena Gomez on social media before they got together. He just kind of came off as like a weird stalker fanboy. I don't know if that's who he is, but those tweets, kind of creepy.
Stalkerish of Demi?
Yeah. Like a lot of weird tweets about her, but like some of them were not as nice as you would imagine from someone who gets engaged, saying like Selena's way prettier than Demi. It's like, oh, yikes. Rude. Yeah, I know. First of all, not true. They're both stunning. But also, if I went back in time and my future husband had tweeted that I wasn't as pretty as someone else, I'd be like, well, see ya. Hit the curb.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm gorgeous. I'm wearing my pajamas.
Yeah.
So that happens. They break up. Right after they break up, he puts out this super emo Instagram story where it's like, imagine learning your relationship came to an end through the tabloids. And it's like, bruh, you knew. Like, come on. Demi didn't just tell the tabloids. I guarantee she told you that you're over.
Oh, okay, keep going.
So this is where we come in. This is where we dunk ourselves into it. And before I've been kind of interested in it, but being like, yeah, I mean, whatever, messy people are going to be messy. This week, paparazzi got pictures of him, which I'm sure he called them for because they're insane, of him crying on the beach where he proposed to Demi. Like, just like sitting there weeping into the surf. They're truly deranged. They're very Heidi and Spencer circa mid 2000s. And they solidify that she made the right choice because this guy seems bananas. That's so crazy.
Yeah, he seems a little cray-cray. Listen, here's my thing. I am with you, Anna. I stand by Demi. I want to see her succeed. Obviously, she's succeeded already at so much, but we obviously know it's been a tough few years for Demi.
Yeah.
But I feel like Demi, I feel like she's in this place in life, and I could be totally wrong. Okay. I don't know Demi. I've never had a conversation with her. Mm-hmm. I am just basing this off of what I see and what I feel as a human. Mm-hmm. I feel like she is so ready to be loved in the right way that she wants to see the good in people. And if someone treats her kindly, I think that she falls for that really quickly because we've seen her kind of go through this like quick relationship. You know, it's like she hops on and then hops off. And it's like right after her her almost accidental overdose. Yeah. You know, the guy that she was with, I was just like, Demi, I'm so sorry, but he is not, this sounds so awful because I shouldn't be judging someone, but he doesn't, based on just social media and his past too, he doesn't seem like he'd be the best for you. And then I think she maybe dated someone else. And then also I was just like, Demi, I don't think so. Then when I see them, I'm like, okay, they look cute. Mm-hmm. And honestly though, as soon as they got engaged, I was like, Demi, this is a huge mistake. This is way too soon. Like, I feel like any guy who's willing to propose to you, knowing what you went through like that quickly there's something that's off. And so when I found out that they called off, their engagement, to me, I just was not surprised, but I'm bummed because I want that for Demi. I want to see her walk down the aisle. I want to see her live that part of her life that I feel like she's striving for. But and the guy seems crazy based on what I didn't know all that.
Yeah, the first part of it was circulating like on the blogs and stuff like that for a while. And then after the split, everyone kind of was like, is this why? Who knows, And then the beach pictures is what I was like, okay, we have to talk about the beach pictures because they're truly deranged.
But paparazzi aren't going to be hanging out at like that spot specifically, being like, all right, is he going to come back? Is she going to come back?
Listen, shade intended. Who knows what he looks like if they just are at the beach, Who's going to see just like that man and be like, oh, that's Max Erich. I've seen countless pictures of this man and I wouldn't recognize him on the street. I don't know. Cool. I think you're right on, though. I think that Demi really wants to be loved, and she's talked so much about how difficult her childhood was and how difficult, her early adulthood was. And I think that she really just wants to find someone who's going to love her, but because she is such a kind person that she's taken advantage of easily. Yeah. And these guys all kind of seem like opportunists, like they're really just ready to jump in and I don't know. So that's a bummer. She did kind of say something funny about it. Where she just posted on Instagram, 2020 is a shit show. Watch this to feel better about it. And it's just like a duck video. I thought that was funny.
Oh my God. Well, did you see her video last night of her singing? She, I think, posted it yesterday.
Oh yeah. She's got a new song out too.
Dude, I love Demi so much.
I know. We're hoping for the best for Demi. So
yes, we are. I know. The day that she gets married and the day that she just looks like happily ever after, I'm going to be so excited.
I know. Same. We'll all celebrate the day. We want an invite to the wedding.
There we go.
Okay. So let's move on to Big Brother real quick. There's not a ton to talk about here. We're down to the final 5. Like we said last week, Tyler got sent home. That's what we were expecting. Kind of a bummer. He was the last person who I thought could really pull a coup. Nicole won HOH. She put up Memphis and Christmas and then stayed loyal to Cody and Enzo by not using the veto. So
who do you think is going to go home?
I think Christmas is gone. I think Cody and Enzo talked a big game about maybe getting rid of Memphis, but I don't think I think it's Christmas because no one in this game has done something interesting the entire time. So why would they start now?
Yeah.
And it should be Memphis though, because he's got so many different alliances that he could pull out a win.
I know. I agree with Nicole. I think Memphis should definitely get out. But I really do think that it's going to come down to Memphis, Enzo, and Cody. And that'll be interesting because all of them have been top tier the entire time. Like Enzo flew under the radar for several weeks.
Enzo and Cody have not been on the block yet.
No. And that's the funny part is like, are you guys not like seeing that like no one is going after these guys? And the crazy part is like, especially Cody and Memphis are really good at the competitions. Yeah. You know, I don't know how somebody doesn't see that and say, let's try and get, I don't know. But I
would have gotten Cody and Memphis up and I would have gotten rid of one of them because
I feel like if anything, the girls could have at least aligned and said, okay, listen, like these guys are good. Yep. You know, I hate to make it a guy-girl thing, but I feel like, you know,
girl alliances always fall apart in Big Brother. And it makes me upset because they fall apart because they have fallen apart. So people don't trust them. Yeah. And it's like, just make it a different game. You don't have to do what people have done in the past. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, I know. So okay, let's say it comes down to them. Who do you think, who would you want to win?
I think at this point, Cody's got to win because whether you like him or not, he's been a beast in the competitions. He's won so much. He's had full control of this house the entire time. No one's put him on the block. And he really hasn't gotten any blood on his hands. No one's mad at Cody. There's absolutely, I mean, I just don't see any other way for anyone to win. He's wrapped this season up in a bow already. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind. I think it'll be him, but I would not mind either him or Enzo. I just don't want to see Memphis win.
Yeah. I'm fine with Enzo too.
Enzo, you know, the funny thing is when we first started talking about this, like I was creeped out by Enzo. I was like, ew, any guy that refers to himself as the meow meow, absolutely not.
Still don't like that.
So I know, I still am not on board with that. But like seeing Enzo over the last several weeks, I'm just like, I kind of like this guy. He's pretty cool and he's funny. And like, you know what I really respect? I really respect the fact that he has been so loyal to Cody.
Yes. Yes.
Like
they've been each other's number one.
Been loyal. Yeah. Like, you know, day one. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. So. Moving away, there's one last thing we got to say, and then we can wrap up with our pop culture picks. But the one scene that stuck out this week as very funny, was
I feel like I know what you're going to say.
The teapot scene where Enzo admitted he doesn't use a teapot. He just boils water in a pot, then pours it into a cup to make tea because it is, quote, more manly. And Cody's just sitting there being like, are you kidding me? And when Cody thinks you're being dumb, the guy who didn't know that a Texan wasn't an animal, I mean, that speaks for itself.
Oh my God. Dude, Enzo just Cody said it perfectly. Cody, after that scene, was like, he just continues to do things that he's just like a man child. Like that is a child trapped in a man's body. And honestly, like I loved I think it was on one of the episodes recently where Enzo went into the bathroom. Cody was showering and Christmas walked in, but like he didn't say anything. And he was like, we knock for a reason and you're supposed to say something and you don't say anything. And he just thinks that he's like, no, I'm in the bathroom. Everyone should know. Leave me alone. This is my business space. This is my office space.
And I'm just so like, weird.
No. He's like, and then the girl that's obsessed with his feet, and he was talking about his
my gosh, he's got a foot stalker.
He's got a foot stalker, but he like admitted that he sends her photos of his feet. I'm like, oh God.
What is going on? Such a weird guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm enjoying watching.
I like him though. It's so funny.
The teapot thing did piss me off though. I was mad about that. I was like, get out of here with your toxic masculinity. Can't use a teapot. I hope you burn yourself. I don't, but you know. Come on, that's
you know
stupid.
What? Okay, this is probably gonna gross you out, but you know why I don't use a tea kettle anymore? Why? Because if you boil water in a pot so many times and you leave water in there, you know how people like leave it in there and they're like, oh well, it boils, so it's fine. It boils out all the
who does that?
Be sitting in there. people do that. But even if you don't, even if you pour the water out, it's still the moisture is kind of like locked in there. I've looked at the bottom of like tea kettles before, and there's like spots on the bottom, and I've had multiples of them, and I stopped using it because I'm like, I can't wash it. And so in a small pot, I boil my water like in a small pot now. And even if you do that same thing, like if you pour your water in a pot and then you either you can leave the water in there, or you can pour it out, but it's still like the moisture is in there. It builds up these spots that almost look like mildew on the bottom.
Is it lime scale though? Because that's like the stuff that develops on your shower head.
Well, it looks different.
Okay. I don't know. I have to look inside my teapot now.
Do it. Take a flashlight and look at the bottom and see if you can see
I don't want to. I want to use it.
It freaks me out. I'm like, I can't, but I'm also a germaphobe too. So I'm one of those.
Teapot awareness 101 here on GroupChat.
Yeah, by the way. Look at the bottom of your tea kettles, everyone.
I'm going to look. Oh God. I hope it's.
If you see something gross, send me a picture.
You're going to get a gross picture on Slack. And
I know. I can't
wait. Okay. We have to move on before I throw up. Move my tea aside. Gross.
Sorry, I ruined it.
It's okay. What is your pop culture pick for the week? We have to move away from this.
All right. My pop culture pick of the week. I'm going to tail off of last week. I officially watched Haunting of Bly Manor.
Me too.
I think I have like one more episode left. So I can't speak to the from front to back, but what I have seen, I was expecting something a little bit different. I was expecting something a little scarier. I was expecting something, but I hear that it all wraps up at the end and it makes it all worth it. I feel like it's moving a little slow for me.
So here is I have an opposite opinion because I finished it. I love it. This will be my pop culture pick too, because we have to,
Okay, we can just geek out again over it.
Yes. I loved it. It's very different than season 1. It's more of like a gothic romance than the haunted house story of the first season. I know they're not the same show technically, whatever, fight me. I liked it. It's a different show, but it also never advertised itself as like straight up horror. I think that people brought in expectations from Hill House into a different, like it's a totally different thing that you choose on Netflix. But I don't think it's as like jump out scary, doesn't like haunt me at night necessarily. But I think the underlying themes are just as horrifying, because season 1 is about how like grief and family trauma can haunt us. And season 2, I feel like is about, and this is not really a spoiler, but it's like the difference between love and possession and how like our memories shape our experiences and how when we pass on, like, does it matter? Will people remember us? So it
was traumatizing to watch. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who haven't seen it because it hasn't been out that long.
Yeah.
But the scene where we understand more of the relationship between the main character and, in that scene of, you know what I'm talking about, to make his glasses light up. I was traumatized. I was like, anyone who went through that, anyone who goes through something like that, God bless you, because oh my God, that was more traumatizing for me to watch this season than like any of the scary scenes, which there really are not that many.
It's more, there's like, a few like creepy scenes, but nothing like maybe jump.
Yeah. I was in, you know what, Anna, like you, well, what you just said, I was someone who came in with expectations thinking it was going to be a little bit scarier than Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
And this is I did a person that doesn't like scary stuff, but I was really excited to watch this, but you know what, I'm just going to have to watch Haunting of Hill House again because it's the perfect time of year for that.
It is. And I came in with those expectations too. I'm not talking down to anyone. I did too. And at first I was like, am I supposed to be scared? And then once I kind of made it to the end and reflected back on it, that's when I was like, oh, it's a different thing. And I appreciate it for what it is. I loved it. I loved all the character. The 80s fashion is amazing. Everyone's hair is great.
I do love that. Yeah. And that little girl in there, oh my God, what does she say? It's just lovely.
Splendid.
Splendid. Perfectly splendid.
She's the voice of Peppa Pig too, which is very funny. If anyone watches Peppa Pig out there.
These kids also are very talented. That was something that crossed my mind. I was like, these kids are so good. Like, good for them.
They are. There's more we can talk about, but we don't want to spoil it for people.
Yeah, true.
So we'll just wrap up for the day. We can talk about it later. Don't forget to follow popculture.com. We've got all your up-to-date news. We're on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Anna Rumor.
And I'm at VMagotomy.
Drop us a rating, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and we'll talk with you next week.